Kimberly looked me dead in the eyes, that candlelight flickering between us, and dropped a line that sliced straight through me. "I've got something exciting planned for tonight," she said, her voice low and syrupy. "I invited another man to join us in bed." She leaned back, smiling like she'd just told me we were trying a new recipe. "Maybe he can show you how it's really done," she added. "Might even give me what you haven't in over a decade." The steak in my mouth turned to dust. I let my fork fall. That little metal clatter echoed through the room like a gunshot, and then silence. I just stared at her, not blinking, not breathing, just staring. My throat tightened up like someone had wrapped a hand around it. She took another sip of wine, cool and smug, like she wasn't setting fire to everything we'd built. Like she'd just announced we were switching cable providers, not inviting a stranger to shatter what was left of our wrecked marriage. I forced my voice to stay level, flat, like ice. "If that man even tries to cross my doorway," I told her, "he's leaving in pieces." Then I looked her dead in the face and added, "And you? I'll toss you both out, naked, humiliated, for the whole neighborhood to see. That night, you won't just lose your pride. You'll lose this house. Forever." She smirked. "Oh yeah? We'll see." Then she stood up slow, dragged her tongue across her bottom lip like some low-budget movie villain, and strutted away with her wine glass like she was queen of the damn parade. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. What came next? I couldn't have imagined if I tried. An hour later, I was back home, sitting alone in the dark. No TV, no lights, just the tick of the clock on the wall and one question spinning in my head like a drill. Was she serious? I didn't want to believe it. But deep down, I knew I'd missed the warning signs. I'd been blind. Kimberly had been distant for months, dodging intimacy, taking trips alone, coming up with excuses to be gone. Girls' nights that started at dinner time and ended just before sunrise. Her phone used to sit face up. Now it lived screen down, locked with new passwords. New underwear I'd never seen before. Expensive perfume I never bought. And the worst part? That scent. It was never for me. I was a fool. A damn loyal fool, still clinging to those 12 years of vows like they meant something. Then I heard a car pull up. I stepped over to the window, careful not to move the curtain. A sleek black Dodge Challenger parked right outside my house. A tall guy got out. Built. Cocky. Smirk on his face like he'd already taken something from me. He adjusted his shirt in the side mirror, then reached into the passenger seat and grabbed a small, high-end duffel bag. That's when I saw her. Kimberly. She stepped out from the other side, heels clicking on the pavement like nails being driven into my spine. She was laughing. A little drunk. Flipping her hair and adjusting her skirt like she didn't have a care in the world. Then she leaned into him. Real close. He wrapped his arm around her waist like it belonged to him. Her hand slipped behind his neck, pulling him down, and then, right there on my street, she kissed him. Outside our house. The same front door she decorated with fake snow and "Home Sweet Home" signs last Christmas. I opened that door. The cold air slammed into me, sharp as knives, but nothing compared to the heat burning through my chest. They both froze. Kimberly's smile disappeared. But the guy? He laughed. "Yo, you must be the husband," he said. His name, I learned later, was Chase. A gym trainer. Of course. Kimberly didn't say a word. Didn't even blink. "We're going upstairs," she said like it was no big deal. I stepped onto the porch, calm on the outside, but my fists were clenched so tight my knuckles had gone pale. "If you take one step inside my house," I said to him, "you're not walking back out the same." Kimberly shoved past me. "Grow up, Eric," she said, brushing her shoulder against mine like I was just some piece of garbage in her way. Chase moved to follow her. That's when I snapped. My fist caught him clean across the face, right on the cheekbone. The crack echoed. He stumbled, swore, but I was already standing between them. "You think this is some kind of game?" I yelled. Kimberly turned to me, eyes narrowed like daggers. 12 years of boring," she hissed. "You think I care if you're hurt now?" And right then, something broke inside me. Not just rage, clarity. The woman I'd loved? She wasn't there anymore. She'd been replaced by something cold, sharp, and poisonous. I didn't lay a hand on her, but I made a choice in that moment. I grabbed the suitcase she'd packed for that so-called spa weekend, hauled it out to the lawn, and threw it as far as I could. "You want to act like a whore in public?" I shouted. "Then live like one." Then I slammed the door in her face. But that was only the beginning. Behind the door, something else waited. Something that would flip my entire world upside down. The sound of the door slamming echoed through the house like a damn gunshot. But there was no peace behind it. No calm. Just that heavy, deafening silence, the kind that settles when a man finally sees the ruins of the love he thought was real. I stood there in the hallway, breathing like I'd just run a marathon, hands still trembling like they hadn't caught up to what just happened. Outside, I could hear Kimberly barking orders at Chase, telling him to grab her suitcase off the wet grass. She was yelling, whining, throwing insults, calling me pathetic like I was some joke she'd outgrown. It all sounded distant, like static. My ears were ringing too loud to make out the words clearly. 12 damn years. And she tossed it away like it was yesterday's trash. I walked upstairs, numb, straight into the bedroom. Her scent still lingered in the air, sweet, fancy, artificial. The kind of perfume that tries to hide something rotten underneath. Her half of the closet was still full, dresses, shoes, bags, but looking at it now, it didn't feel real. It was like staring at a costume rack, like she'd been playing a role this whole time. That's when I saw it. Her second phone. She always had two. Claimed one was for work. I never bought it, not fully. But I never had the guts to press the issue either. Tonight, though, my instincts took the wheel. I pulled it out of the drawer. Locked, of course. But Kimberly was never careful like that. She didn't believe anyone would dare touch her stuff. I tried her birthday first. Nothing. Then mine. Still nothing. Then, on a hunch, I typed in Chase. Click. It opened. And God help me, I wish it hadn't. Her home screen? A picture of the two of them. On a beach somewhere. She was in a bikini I'd never seen in my life, sitting on his lap, smiling like a teenager without a care in the world. No husband. No ring. No guilt. Her fingers tangled in his hair. His hand casually resting on her thigh. I started scrolling through the messages. Every pathetic cliche imaginable. Last night was wild. You know just what I like. I keep thinking about your hands. He has no clue. Still thinks we're working on the marriage. But the one that crushed me? A photo. A damn selfie. Kimberly in our bed. Hair messy. Smirking. And right behind her, Chase, shirtless, middle finger pointed at the camera like he owned the place. The caption read, "He's downstairs. LOL. If only he knew." I sat on the edge of the bed, heart pounding. My vision blurred. But I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. It had gone past that point. I felt hollow, like something had carved out my chest and left nothing but a shell behind. This wasn't just cheating. This was cruelty. Deliberate cruelty. It wasn't about lust. It was about mocking me, turning my loyalty into a punchline. She didn't just betray me, she laughed while doing it. I dropped the phone, letting it fall onto the floor beside me. How the hell did I miss all of this? How long had I been sharing my house with a stranger? And the worst part? I still blamed myself. For staying late at work. For trusting her. For still holding on to hope that maybe, just maybe, we could fix things. But there was no fixing this. Then I heard the front door creak open again. Footsteps. Not hers. Not his. I grabbed the first thing I could find, a dusty old baseball bat from the corner, and crept downstairs, every muscle tight. Every sound was sharper now. Every creak, every breath. Even a cough felt like thunder. As I turned the corner, ready for anything, I saw someone standing in the hallway. It was Chris, my neighbor. He held up a paper bag like it was some kind of peace offering. "Jesus, Dan," he said, hands up. "Didn't mean to scare you." He stepped forward and handed me the bag. Inside was a bottle of whiskey and a pack of cigarettes. "I saw what happened out there," he mumbled. "Thought you might need this." I nodded, taking the bottle without a word. He looked uncomfortable. Hesitated. "She's been coming home late a lot," he said finally. "But I guess you already knew that." I didn't say anything. "I didn't want to get involved," he added. "But I've seen that guy before. More than once." Of course he had. Probably half the damn neighborhood had seen him. Everyone but me. I was the joke. The fool who kept playing house while his wife made me look like a clown. I gave him a quiet nod, clutching the whiskey like it was the only thing keeping me from falling over. "Thanks, Chris," I said, voice low. "Really?" But in my head, something had already shifted. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was war. And I was done being the nice guy. The whiskey burned going down, but it didn't even touch the fire that had started in my chest. I sat in the living room, bottle resting between my knees, alone now. Chris had left, and the silence around me was thick enough to choke on. That second phone was still sitting there on the coffee table. It looked harmless, but it felt like a grenade just waiting to blow. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to walk away. I already had enough proof. Enough pain. But another part of me, the part that needed to understand all of it, wasn't finished yet. I had to know how deep the knife went. So I picked it up and opened it again. Her second phone lit up again, messages flooding in one after another, names that were supposed to be harmless: catering, Monica, dry cleaning. I opened each thread, one by one. They weren't business contacts. They weren't friends. Just more men. Different names, different nights, different lies. She'd been spinning plates, juggling 3, maybe 4 guys at once. Some of the conversations went back months. Others? Just a few days old. But one thread hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. It was labeled, "My Escape Plan." It was long, disgusting. A detailed back and forth between her and a guy named Bill. Turns out, none of this was random. Kimberly wasn't just cheating, she was plotting. According to the messages, Chase was bait. She wanted me to explode, to completely lose it, so she could paint me as unstable, dangerous, someone she had to escape from. She wrote, "Once he snaps, everything's mine. The house. Half the accounts. He'll crack, and I'll finally be free." And Bill? He replied, "You deserve better. Let him burn. Let him burn." She'd been laying this out for months. The cold shoulder. The emotional distance. The little jabs. The nights she stayed out late. It was all part of her plan. She needed me to react, to slip up, to give her the excuse. That dinner tonight? That wasn't impulsive. That was her final chess move. She didn't want to fix our marriage. She wanted to break me and cash in the fallout. I shot up to my feet, too fast. My head spun. My fists clenched at my sides, jaw locked tight. I could feel my pulse pounding in my temples. This wasn't just betrayal. This was warfare. She'd been engineering my destruction while I slept beside her like a blind idiot, loving her, protecting her, trusting her. And then, just to make it worse, I heard her voice outside, laughing, louder this time, like nothing mattered. Then a knock at the door. Soft, almost mocking. "Eric," she sang through the door. "Seriously? You're gonna lock me out? I'm cold. Don't be dramatic." I didn't move. Another knock. Then the rattle of the handle. Still locked? She let out a loud, annoyed sigh. "You're overreacting. It's not like he even came inside." I clenched my teeth hard enough to hurt. Still, I said nothing. "Fine," she snapped. "Be a little B***tch about it. I'll sleep at Chase's tonight." She paused, then threw out her signature threat, her favorite line anytime a waiter messed up or someone on the phone didn't jump fast enough. "You have no idea who you're messing with." Then, silence. I walked to the window and pulled the curtain just enough to peek through. I watched her storm off toward that black Challenger, heels clacking, her body language all attitude and zero shame. She muttered something to Chase, then climbed in. The engine roared, and they sped off down the street. I stood there, just watching the road where they disappeared. She wanted to destroy me. Thought she could. But now, I had everything. Her phone, her texts, her selfies, her plan. And I wasn't going to break. I was going to beat her. Burn her little fantasy to the ground. I walked upstairs and opened the safe. Pulled out everything: our marriage certificate, joint account records, tax files, the deed to the house. I spread it all out on the bed like I was building a map for battle. This wasn't going to be a divorce. It was going to be a *****ing massacre. And when the dust settled, only one of us would be left standing. The next morning, she came back like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just pissed on 12 years of marriage and danced barefoot in the ashes. She strolled in holding a Starbucks cup, sunglasses on, keys twirling on her finger like some spoiled teenager sneaking back in after curfew. I was in the kitchen, dressed, calm, stone sober. Her second phone sat on the table beside a thick manila envelope. She paused when she saw it, just for a beat, then smiled. "You really need to relax, babe," she said, sipping her drink. "We both know you're not actually throwing me out." I didn't flinch. "Chase drop you off?" I asked. She lifted an eyebrow. "So what if he did?" I tapped the phone with one finger. "You ever hear of emotional murder, Kim?" She groaned and rolled her eyes. "God, don't be so dramatic. I told you what I wanted. I didn't sneak around. At least I gave you the chance to be a man about it." "You gave me a test," I said flatly, "when you hoped I'd fail." Then I stood up slow, calm. I picked up the envelope and slid it across the table toward her. "Open it." She hesitated, then grabbed it like she was humoring me. But as she pulled out the stack of papers, printed texts, emails, photos, her hands started to stiffen. I watched her closely. And right there, the first crack in her armor. It showed up the second she saw that photo, her and Chase, in our bed. That photo, the one where Chase is flipping off the camera like he owns my damn house? That was the moment I snapped inside. Kimberly's voice dropped into a hiss. You went through my phone? You brought it into my house, I said flatly. That makes it evidence. She flipped to the next page, our little escape plan chat with Bill. That's when the cracks didn't just show. They split wide open. You weren't supposed to see that, she muttered, her voice barely a whisper. Oh, but it's real, isn't it? I asked. You admit it? She didn't say a word, just dropped the envelope on the table and crossed her arms like a brat caught red-handed. I got tired, she finally said. Tired of pretending. Tired of you. Tired of this house. Your boring little life. She spat it like venom. You're so safe, Eric. So steady. Like plain F asterisk 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 ing toast. That one stung. But I didn't let it show. You haven't touched me in months, she snapped. I tried. You pushed me away. I needed a man, not a damn roommate. My jaw locked tight. I stepped in close. So your answer was to humiliate me? To drag some gym rat into our bed, right under my nose, and hope I'd blow up so you could play the victim and walk out with the house. She blinked but held her ground. You think I don't know this game? I said, my voice low and steady. You wanted the house. The money. Sympathy from your friends. You wanted me to look like the monster. You are a monster, she shot back. Look at you, snooping through my phone, throwing punches, threatening people. Then she smirked. You played right into it. And that makes you the fool. I stared at her, this woman I once thought I'd grow old with, and felt nothing. No sadness. No pity. Just cold, deep disgust. You're not the same person I married, I said. She gave a lazy shrug. Good. That girl was weak. No, I replied. She was loyal. She was loving. And you killed her. Her smile twisted, but her eyes were calculating. So what now, she said. You think you're going to beat me at this game? Take me to court? I'll still walk out richer. I leaned in close, my voice barely above a whisper. Not if I strike first. That's when she looked at me, really looked. And for the first time, I saw it. Fear. Good. Because I wasn't Eric the pushover anymore. This was war. And I'd already drawn first blood. Kimberly didn't come home that night. She sent one message, half-baked and desperate. Hope you're ready to lose everything. Chase has got a great lawyer. I didn't answer. Instead, I got to work. I copied everything from her second phone to my laptop, texts, photos, voice notes, GPS logs. I dug up receipts from hotel stays she'd booked during her work trips. One of them? Our anniversary night. While I was home lighting candles, setting the table, wrapping a gift she never opened, she was in a king-sized suite downtown, tangled up with a man who thinks creatine is a personality. Now every betrayal had a date, a time, a place. By the next morning, I was sitting across from a divorce attorney. Her name was Monica, sharp as broken glass and dressed like she was heading into battle. I handed her the folder full of Kimberly's secrets. Her eyes widened as she flipped through it like it was a best-selling thriller. She messed with the wrong man, Monica muttered. With this, we'll burn her to the ground. I gave one quiet nod. No rage. No shaking. Just resolve. This wasn't revenge anymore. This was survival. Kimberly declared war. I was just returning fire. By the end of that meeting, Monica had filed for an emergency injunction. Our joint accounts? Frozen. Kimberly wouldn't see a single dime she didn't bleed for. The house? Locked down. She couldn't sell it, rent it, or even move a throw pillow without approval. That night, the text started flying in again. You're pathetic. Blocking my card? Real mature. You think you're going to win? Everyone's on my side. She was coming apart at the seams. I could feel it. That cocky mask she wore? It was slipping. She thought the man she belittled all those years would roll over. She thought I'd crumble. But now she was realizing the truth. The safe husband she mocked was the one holding the keys to her downfall. And the best part? I wasn't even done yet. Later that week, I met up with Chris, my neighbor. He handed me a flash drive. Security footage from my porch cams, he said. You're going to want to see this. He was right. There they were, Kimberly and Chase, on camera, kissing in my driveway. Not once. Not twice. 6 times. One of those nights? She told me she was at a friend's baby shower. She wore white that night. Told me it was a girls-only thing. Yeah, well, the camera caught her with her legs wrapped around another man before she even made it to the damn front steps. With that footage, all the texts, the photos, Monica's team didn't waste time. They filed the paperwork. The official divorce papers were served the next day. Kimberly's reaction? Instant. She showed up at my door wearing what I can only call a costume. A sad little get-up meant to look like an apology. Tight blouse, watery eyes, crocodile tears. The same act that might have worked on me 5 years ago, back when I was still stupid enough to believe it. I made mistakes, she said, standing in the doorway, arms folded like she was the wounded one. But we've been unhappy for a long time. Don't you think we should at least talk? I didn't even touch the screen door. You had your chance, I said. Now talk to my lawyer. Her expression twisted fast. You're really doing this? No, I said. You did this. I'm just pressing play. She flipped me off, stormed down the steps, and shouted over her shoulder. You're going to regret this. But I didn't. I was done regretting. She thought she'd break me, but all she did was finally wake me up. 2 weeks later, Kimberly's perfect little world started to cave in. The first blow? Her debit card got declined at one of her favorite boutiques. I knew because she sent me 17 text messages in a row, all of them in all caps. You blocked me out of everything. I have nothing, Eric. Nothing. You're evil. You're a monster. After everything I did for you. I didn't reply. Not to that, and not to the call from her mother a few hours later. Yeah, Kimberly's mom left a voicemail, accusing me of being financially abusive and vindictive. I listened to the first 10 seconds, then deleted it. The thing is, Kimberly spent years telling everyone I was the stable one, the dependable husband, the nice guy who held down the fort while she figured herself out. She never expected I'd grow a spine. But now, she was watching her little house of lies come crashing down, brick by brick. And Chase? Well, gym boys like him don't handle real-life stress too well. One night, I got a voice note from an unknown number. No name, but I knew that voice. It was Chase. He sounded nervous. Panicked, even. Hey man. Look, I didn't know she was married, all right? He said, breath shaky. She told me you were separated. I would not have messed around if I'd known. I swear. I didn't mean to. Just, don't come after me, man. I'm out. I'm done. I played it twice, then forwarded it to Monica. By the time we got to the first court hearing, Kimberly didn't even look like herself anymore. The fancy designer clothes were gone. The fake tan had faded. She walked in wearing sunglasses indoors, head low, no eye contact. Monica stood beside me like a wolf in a tailored suit, flipping through our evidence like she'd been waiting all week to go for the jugular. Infidelity, financial misconduct, intentional emotional harm, calculated provocation. She listed off. Kimberly's lawyer tried to interrupt, twice. Monica shut him down both times like she was cutting through meat. The judge? He wasn't buying Kimberly's act. Not after he saw the pictures, the hotel receipts, the camera footage, the printed text threads. When he finally asked Kimberly if she had anything to say for herself, she fumbled through some half-baked speech about not feeling seen and just wanting happiness. Nobody in that courtroom bought it, least of all me. By the end of that hearing, the ruling was clear. I was granted full control of the house. The rest of our accounts? Frozen. And here's the part that actually made me smile. I got temporary custody of the dog. Only loyal one in that house, if we're being real. Kimberly stormed out of that courtroom like a wind-up toy that ran out of batteries. Didn't look back. Didn't say a word. Outside, I leaned against my car and took the deepest breath I'd taken in months. Monica smirked beside me, flipping her hair back like we'd just won a championship game. You know, she said, most guys cry in there. Or beg for one last shot at reconciliation. And me? I asked. You stayed silent, she said. Didn't even blink. I shrugged. I stopped talking to liars. Saves time. That night, I sat out on the porch, whiskey in one hand. The dog curled up at my feet. I could still catch traces of her perfume on the porch cushions. Could still hear faint echoes of her laughter in the corners of the house. But it didn't hurt anymore. I wasn't mourning a woman. I was burying a ghost. Because the woman I loved? She never really existed. She was just a projection, a mask worn by someone who'd been planning to kill long before I caught on. And the more I let that truth sink in, the freer I became. Didn't take long for the rumors to start. In a small town like ours, scandal travels faster than Wi-Fi. At first, people were cautious. Whispers. Soft messages like, hey, just checking on you. I heard something about Kim. I ignored most of them. But then, The video leaked. The one from Chris's porch cam, Kimberly giggling, wrapped around Chase like a drunk teenager at prom. I didn't leak it. Didn't have to. Someone on Monica's team had accidentally shared it during discovery, and someone else accidentally uploaded it to a local gossip page. By noon the next day, half the town had seen it, including Kimberly's job. She worked at a private marketing firm, image-based, reputation-obsessed. That video? It was radioactive. The kind of thing that ruins resumes and makes HR reps scramble for cover. Within 48 hours, they placed her on indefinite leave. She tried to spin it, of course. Claimed I was smearing her out of revenge. But it didn't matter anymore. You can't unsee the truth. I found out later she had a breakdown in the parking lot of her office, screaming into her phone about how everything was slipping. Good. Let it slip. While she was spiraling, I was rebuilding, but not just rebuilding. I was upgrading. I started running again, eating real food, sleeping through the night for the first time in years. No more waking up to apology texts or mind games. My inbox? Finally quiet. My house? Clean. Still. Peaceful. It actually felt like a home again. But just when I thought it was over, the final blow came. Chase called me. Blocked number. I almost ignored it, but curiosity's a cruel addiction. His voice was low, strained, like he was hiding in a bathroom stall. Look, man, he started, already cracking. I didn't sign up for this. You signed up for my wife, I said. Pretty sure you knew the terms. No, you don't get it, he said fast. She's losing it. I mean, like, really losing it. Is that so? She's talking about hurting herself. She said if she can't win, she'll burn everything down. Then came silence. The kind that carries regret without needing a word. She told me you used to hit her, he added quietly. I laughed. Couldn't help it. I actually laughed. Of course she did, I said. Kimberly always needs a villain. That's how she rewrites the story when the truth stops serving her. I just thought you should know. Watch your back. I hung up without another word. I didn't feel fear. Wasn't even angry. Just cold, sharp clarity. Kimberly had officially hit rock bottom. She was cornered. Mask slipping. Dangerous now. So I did what smart men do. Tightened my circle. Installed security cameras inside and out. Told Monica to notify the police if needed. And I started documenting everything. Every text. Every voicemail. Every slow drive-by where she didn't stop, but made sure I saw her. All of it went into a folder labeled insurance. Then, just when I thought she couldn't fall any lower, she showed up. Drunk. It was 2:20 a.m. when the pounding started on the front door. I pulled up the camera feed. There she was, barefoot, mascara streaking down her cheeks, hair wild, screaming my name like she owned the night. I loved you, you coward, she howled. I gave you everything. I didn't open the door. Didn't say a damn thing. Just watched through the screen as she dropped to her knees, sobbing into her palms. Eventually, she crawled back to her car and disappeared down the street like a ghost running from daylight. That was Kimberly's final act. She thought love meant control. Thought loyalty was weakness. But now? Now she finally understood what happens when a good man stops begging and starts walking away. And I was nearly at the finish line. The final hearing came on a gray Friday morning. No drama. No thunder. Just steady rain streaking the courthouse windows like the sky was rinsing off the last of the lies. Kimberly came alone. No lawyer. Chase? Gone. Her mom? Gone. Fake friends, fake confidence, fake tears, all gone. She looked small. Hair pulled back. Dark circles under her eyes. Dressed in black. Maybe to look serious. Instead, she just looked hollow. I didn't speak to her. Didn't even glance her way. Monica did all the talking, calm, clear, merciless. She laid everything out, the cheating, the planning, the emotional sabotage. At this point, it wasn't about a broken marriage. It was about character, or the lack of it. And Kimberly? She had nothing left to say. No tears. No speeches. Just a blank stare, like the weight of it all had finally settled in. The judge didn't need long. 15 minutes, tops. The ruling? The house, mine. The accounts, frozen and mostly mine. The dog, mine. Kimberly? She got exactly what she built her plan around. Nothing. After the hearing, Monica patted me on the shoulder. It's done, she said. But I didn't feel victorious. I just felt, still. Like the storm had passed and left behind nothing but quiet. Outside, Kimberly stood alone under a tree, lighting a cigarette with trembling hands. As I passed her, she turned. Eyes glassy. You really hate me that much? she asked, barely above a whisper. I stopped, not out of pity, not out of sympathy, but because I needed to say it, really say it, just once. No, I said, I don't hate you. I hate who I became because of you. She blinked. I went on. You lied, Kimberly. You used me. You made a joke out of everything we built. And now you're standing there wondering why no one's coming to save you. Her lips quivered. You'll miss me one day, she whispered. I already did, I said. For years. Then I turned and walked away. Didn't look back. That was the real ending.